So I have made notes tonight. You know that I don't usually read, but I've made notes tonight because the subject I really want to cover is a very, very important one. And having been a weight loss coach for over 2 decades, there is one element that people must have if they want to succeed long term. Anyone can lose weight, but keeping it off is another thing altogether. So what does it take to keep weight off long term? And I really want to help make this journey for you very, very easy. And there's a way that you can do that just by changing our perception and changing the way that we think. So the subject for tonight's live is how to think yourself slim. So excuse me if I look down a bit because I might need glasses as well. Let's just go for the glasses. Makes me look more intelligent if I do this. So, and hi guys, I can see everyone coming on. Hi Margaret, hi Liz, hi Anya's online, hi Anya, and Kim Marshall, hi Kim. So first of all, I just want to say that when we're trying to create a lasting change in our life, we have to address the underlying reasons why we're where we are at the start point. And where we are at the start point when you're coming into this program is that you've had a mindset and a life philosophy and patterns and programs that have created where you're at. And basically what I want to say to this, and I'm not going to get too much into quantum physics and theory, but I am a bit of a quantum physics geek, I'll just warn you on that, is that we are energetic beings. Every thought that we have sends out a vibration. Every cell in your body. We know this. This is not religion here. This is science. Every cell in your body, if we were to look at it through a high-powered microscope, we would see nothing more than an energy vibration. And because of that, every thought that we think is affecting the vibration of every cell in our body. And this is really, really exciting stuff, because when you understand this and you understand that how the thoughts that you think are actually shaping and changing the health and the way that your cells renew, you're able to then kind of harness all that information and use it to your advantage. So I'm going to cover this tonight. So basically what I want to start by saying is understand that you're an energy magnet. Every thought that you have is attracting to you your own reality, okay? And so basically every thought you have creates a feeling or an emotion, okay? So I'm going to talk a little bit about emotion, and I want you to think about emotions like this. Emotion, energy in motion, okay? And energy is what perpetuates over time, that creates the way that we think, the way that we feel, the habits that we create, and the very reality of our own life. So if you consider the fact that you're an energy magnet and every thought that you're having, I'm just reading some of these comments that come in, our collective cells are buzzing all the time, Karen says, listening to you. It's so true, okay? So every thought that you think, your cells are responding accordingly. We know this through science. So every feeling that you have perpetuates thoughts as well. It's like a snowball. It's like a cycle that we get into. And every thought builds a momentum, and that kind of snowballs over time. And as that momentum builds, we start stacking thoughts upon each other. So stacking thoughts creates our story. Now, I want to put this into practical information for you so you understand where I'm coming from. If we were to wake up in the morning and we're tired, or there's stress, or we've got some horrible thing that we've got to deal with in the day, or the kids are screaming, or the husband's negative, or whatever, and we wake up and the first thing that we start thinking is a negative thought. Okay, so I'm going to use an example here. Let's just say I'm exhausted, right? And you go, oh, I'm on this blinking weight loss program, I'm exhausted. How am I going to get through the day today? I've got to be here, there, the other. How am I going to manage this, right? Within about 15 to 20 seconds, that negative thought basically stimulates the next negative thought. So the next negative thought is, I'm going to fail today, or I'm a failure, okay? And so that then stacks another thought. So the more we attach ourselves to negative thoughts, the more negative thoughts start building, okay? So can you relate to this? Tell me if you can relate to this. So basically what happens, give me a thumbs up if you understand what I'm saying. It's good to get your feedback while I'm watching this. So basically we wake up and we've got this negative thought, and then all of a sudden the next thought starts accumulating, and then the next thought starts stacking, and then the next thought starts stacking, right? So we then start stacking all these negative thoughts, and all of a sudden we have begun this negative pattern for the whole day. And so the exhaustion turns into failure, and then it turns into I always fail, which then your subconscious mind drives the energy, drives the emotion around that. All the subconscious backstories, I always fail at diets, always fail at this, starts kind of kicking in. And before you know it, you've kind of lost yourself to that belief. So how do we turn that around, right? I was listening to an old Wayne Dyer. Those of you, many of you will know Dr. Wayne Dyer. And I was listening to him speak with Esther Hicks and Abraham the other day, and Esther Hicks did the most amazing analogy, so I'm going to share it with you. And this will put what I'm just saying into perspective for you. She said that you imagine that you're in a car, or you park your car at the top of a very, very steep hill. And you decide, just for fun, what would happen if I took the brakes off and just kind of pushed it over the edge, right? Now, if we're smart, we'll go and we'll stop the car from rolling down the hill. The thought kicks in, the car starts going, we'll stop it immediately. Now, imagine if you went to the bottom of the hill and tried to stop it, right? Because at the bottom of the hill, the car's produced speed and momentum. Sorry, someone's ringing. And all of a sudden, you're at the bottom of the hill, you're going to get bowled over by that car, right? Can you understand what's going on there? So the momentum of those negative thoughts has now gathered speed, it's gathered more thoughts. And now all of a sudden, you're at the bottom of the hill and you're going to get bombarded. So what's going on there? Once you allow the car to get to the bottom of the hill, all those negative thoughts to perpetuate and snowball and gather momentum, you're going to get bowled over. And at that point, you've lost yourself. You've lost yourself to, Eckhart Tolle describes it as the pain body. So the pain body is basically your collective negative thoughts, stories, patterns, and behaviors that you've accumulated over your lifetime. And the pain body is awoken. And once you're in that state, you can't stop that car. You're gone. And I know you can relate to this because this is kind of where that inner critic has taken over, right? So the inner critic is now engaged and involved, and you're identifying with the inner critic. You've lost perspective altogether. The inner critic is now sabotaging you. It's telling you you're a failure. You may as well go eat those biscuits. It tells you everything negative that you want to hear, right? So we need to be able to stop the car at the top of the hill. So how do we do that? And how we do that is to become a really skilled observer of our own consciousness. This is where mindfulness kicks in. This is about learning how to be fully present and aware of our thoughts and our emotions, because our emotions are energy in motion. And once that energy kicks into motion, it perpetuates, it snowballs, the thoughts start stacking, and we're gone. And it's very, very difficult for even the most enlightened beings to pull themselves back once that momentum has started. So the key to success here is to catch those thoughts at the very, very beginning. So I'm going to go back to my notes here because I don't want to miss these points that I've laid out for you. Are you relating to what I'm saying? Can you type some comments? And Charlene's just said mindfulness is amazing. Deb said domino effect. And Anya said, yeah, what we think about, we bring about. Denise has said, yes, absolutely. Okay, so here we go. The idea is to stop the momentum from building right from the start. And the way we do that is to become fully present. And how do we become fully present? Some of you would have seen the video in the mindset training of learning to be your own observer. So I'm going to talk you through that now. So learning to be the observer is to understand that you have different perspectives within your own mind. You have, you actually have an ability to stand back from the thoughts you're thinking and observe them as though you're watching a movie. So as soon as you catch yourself going into a negative funk or a negative story, I want you to be fully conscious. Bringing conscious awareness and mindfulness into everything that you're doing across the day is going to make you master this and master your life. This is not just about weight loss. This is about every aspect of life. If you're wanting to create change, we have to understand and identify the underlying story so that we can then change that, which changes the energy and emotion, which changes the things we focus about across the day, and therefore we're able to change our life and our life course, right? So how we do that is basically in your mind's eye as that negative thought or emotion starts arising. If you just stop for a moment and take a few deep breaths. Now, if your emotion's really, really high, this is where just a few conscious breaths rubbing your heart will bring you right back into center. It will bring the congruence right back into your heart and your brain and bring those energies back into sync. So it's immediately calming. So if you're at work and something stressful's happening, or the boss has pissed you off, or whatever's going on, or the kids are wretched, just remove yourself just for a minute. It only takes a few seconds, and rub that heart and deep breathe right down into your belly. And all of a sudden that will bring a calming feeling back in. And, you know, this is a good thing to do when you're driving the kids to, you know, you're at the traffic lights, or if you're at work and it's busy, and every time you go to the bathroom, just do this, just get present, okay? And then what you do is you basically take a mental step back or above. Some people go above, some people go back. Just step back and project the negative thoughts onto a movie screen as though you're watching it. You're no longer in the story, you're now watching the story. And what happens in that process is that you create a space between what's going on, okay, where the thoughts are coming from, which is that inner critic or that pain body or that negative aspect of our human ego. We're now watching that, but we've detached ourselves and we're watching it from a different, higher state of awareness. And when we learn to do that, we then have options, right? We get to choose. Do I want to go back into the negative story, or do I want to change the story, and how do I go about changing that story? Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about in a moment. But one of the ways to change your story around your weight and your progress and health and your lifestyle is to really catch things first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning is where you have rested. And as soon as you wake up, if you're able to have a mantra prepared when you go to sleep at night, come up with what your mantra for the next morning is going to be. So as soon as you come out of your slumber, right, you're waking up. We're shifting our consciousness through different states, and we're coming out of what's called the theta state. So as soon as you wake up in the morning, you're in what's called the theta state. So these are where the brain waves are basically merging your subconscious mind with your conscious mind. And you'll all be aware of this. You're awake, but you're not awake. You're asleep, but you're not asleep. You're just kind of coming out of that state. That is the most pivotal time to start creating and setting up the best patterns for the day. So what you do is, as you wake up, you've already planned what you're going to say, and you basically create your day. So we create our day. I have a little mantra that I do when I create my day. And as soon as I wake up, this is what I say to myself. I'll have an intention of something that I want to achieve, or a state that I want to feel or experience. And I will have that set out in my mind as I go to sleep at night. And as I wake up, I will wake up and I will say, I'm taking this moment to create my day and attracting into my life what it is I want to create. And so for you, if it's weight loss focused, you will say, I'm taking this moment to create my day and attract towards me the highest energy, healthiest day of my life. And I'm going to give it everything I have. And I want to see those things line up for me. And so you play around with this, and it's quite exciting, because the more you do this, you go through the day and you go, oh my gosh, I'm just having the best day. This is just so easy. You're setting an intention for your conscious awareness to be focused on health, well-being, and success. You're not allowing those negative thoughts to start ruining the day from the beginning and gathering momentum, right? So basically what happens is we go into this conscious observer. We then work to create our day. And ultimately what we're wanting to create, because we're here for weight loss, is we want to create a slim and healthy body. So I would like you to type in some reasons, some things. What would what would be a good mantra for you on this journey? Maybe some of you might put a few things in there while I go on, and I'll come back and read some of these things. So just as our negative thoughts perpetuate and stack and start snowballing, so do our positive thoughts. But we have a few issues with positive thinking, and I think it's really, really important to understand what these issues are. With negative thoughts, they're generally a story that's perpetuated throughout our life. They've got a lot of energy and motion. There's a lot of emotion around those things. And because the emotions that we're feeling are shifting us on a cellular level, and our cells are responding and our awareness is responding to that, it's kind of like it's got a life of its own. So in order to shift that into the positive, we can consciously think a couple of positive thoughts. We might be able to stack one or two of those, but we don't yet have the momentum behind it to be able to create that massive energetic shift that's going to enable our bodies to respond on a cellular level. Are you following me here, girls? So this is where the inner coach comes in. Okay, this is where it's really, really important to really start developing your relationship with the inner coach. So if you haven't done that module, please go to that module. It's the foundation of the whole mindset program. And there's a meditation on how to meet your inner coach and start bringing her in morning, noon, night across the day, right? So we want to wake up in the morning, create our day, and bring that inner coach in. Bring her in for support, because that's the voice in your head that knows you've got this, that knows you can do it, despite what the family have to say, that this is another bloody diet and you're always going to fail. Oh no, mum, all the negative stuff that you hear or that you've told yourself, right? So you bring in the inner coach in the morning to start doing that cheerleading for you and getting that clarity, and that starts stacking the thoughts. Okay, so sometimes I hate this term. We've got to fake it till we make it. It's such a wrong term in so many ways, but it's appropriate in some ways too, because the inner coach, the more we start saying these things to ourselves, the more we start identifying with her, then that story, then our negative story is rewritten, and we can start focusing on that. So basically bring in that inner coach, but you have to get specific on what it is you want to achieve. Okay, it's not just enough to wake up in the morning, bring in the inner coach and go, I'm going to have a good day, it's going to be positive, I'm not going to eat that much, I'm not going to be tempted, I'm going to do this, that, the other thing, because what's going on is the subconscious is still really powerful. So we've got to learn to identify the core of our story. And this is why the mindset training is so important in shifting this long term for you, because you need to understand what your story has been before this. So that we can start rewriting all of that negativity, right, with something else. So you've got to get specific. So type in, here's how you do it, right? How would a slim and healthy person think when they wake up? How do they think across the day that maybe you weren't thinking prior to joining the program, or where you're still at? Can you type in some of the things that you think a slim woman would tell herself across the course of a day? Type some in. I'm going to read some of these things. Please type them in. Type away. I'm sure you're typing stuff in. It'll take you a little bit. But here's the thing. This is how you think yourself slim. You've got to start identifying with the story that you want to have for the rest of your life in terms of being healthy and taking care of yourself and feeding yourself the best food in the world and all of that. Because if you don't start telling yourself that story, you're going to default back to that old inner critic humdrum and that negativity. So we have to start being really conscious. How would a slim and healthy person say, how would she think and across the day? So the comments are starting to come in. I look and feel amazing today, says Charlene. Absolutely. I'm just reading away. Slim women don't need to think about food all day. That's not true, Jackie. I'm going to dissolve that myth right now for you. Slim women don't necessarily not have to think about food. I think there's a lot of myths around slim people, and one of them is that most slim people are naturally thin. They don't have food addictions, blah blah blah. They just manage things differently. I'm not naturally slim. And I've thought about doing this just to prove it to people, but I'm not going to do it to myself. I could gain 30 kilos in a year, no problem. I could gain 5 kilos in a month, no problem. I am not naturally slim. This is something that is, I love food. I'm a massive foodie. But because I love food so much, I had to understand what healthy food was and what great food is and high vibrational food, and really develop a loving relationship with food. So I don't know. There are certainly the personality types that they talk about, you either live to eat or eat to live, right? So I imagine a lot of people coming to my program are the live to eat type people, and there are certainly some people out there that don't put much emphasis on food, and therefore they just, it's the opposite for them, certainly. But I think a lot of my clients and a lot of the long-term success stories are people that are food obsessed, actually. So we've got to shift away from it's about developing a relationship with healthy food, I think is the bottom story there. Okay, so I'm going to read some of these more here. Oh, they're going so fast. Thanks, Jackie. She said that makes sense. Okay, I think slim people do think about what they eat. But with me, I don't stop at one piece of chocolate, whereas they would. That's true. That's developing a slightly different story with food again. That's part of rebuilding your story. My slim daughter only eats until she is full, no matter what is on offer. Selena, that's true. And I'm well aware that a lot of people don't stop when they're full, and that is part of what the mindset stuff is about. It's a part of addressing why it is we're filling the void. What emotions are we suppressing? Where are we not in alignment with our life? Because when you're inspired and you're in alignment with life, and you're taking care of things on it, this is where the life coaching stuff needs to come in, so that we've got to constantly be checking in on all different areas of our life, so that we're not filling the void with food. But I'm not going to cover that right now. But okay, so so Margaret says, yes, another great day coming up. That's true. So, it really is about learning the dialogue, or the internal dialogue, that is going to keep you on task. Because what we have is these two different states of conscious awareness. The negative aspect, that is the food addict that can't stop at one piece of chocolate, is going to, basically what's happening there is we're stacking emotions, and that energy gathers emotion or motion, and it perpetuates and becomes larger. Whereas a slim person will be able to observe those thoughts very early on. Slim women aren't necessarily triggered any less emotionally than people that turn to food for emotional comfort. They've just mastered what I'm speaking about now. They've mastered how to catch it early enough and make a conscious decision in the moment to do something that is good for them. Now, you all know that if you were to eat an entire bar of chocolate, the negative self-talk that comes along afterwards, the aftermath of binge eating, the negativity that comes in, is almost like a self-punishment. So we've really got to look at underneath, what is it? What is it that I'm punishing myself for? What haven't I forgiven myself for in life? Why do I feel like I'm failing somewhere? How can I fill up those gaps and those needs in an authentic, positive way, so that I'm not using food now as a form of punishment? Because a lot of people say, oh, I love food too much, I can't stop eating food. And my answer is quite brutal. You don't love food, you abuse food. And food is abusing you. So when you have a healthy, authentic relationship with food, it's a genuine love. It's a love of wanting to nourish your body, feed the cells, feed yourself the best food in the world, and that energy then changes you on a cellular level, and that health exudes from you, and you're able to master other things in life. So we've got to go deep. We can't just look at food as a calorie in, calorie out. This is what I have to eat, and if I eat out, we can't do that. It's about shifting our core belief around food and our relationship, and addressing the drivers factors that sabotage us. So let's get back to what I'm talking about tonight. How do we think ourselves slim? So first of all is understanding the consciousness or mindset of someone that's already where you want to go, because they do think very differently. So part of that is capturing those early negative thoughts, because both slim women and overweight women have negative thoughts. Slim women aren't just positive all the time. In fact, I know a lot of very negative slim people, and they have other habits that are just as bad. So it is capturing the early thoughts and stopping that car from rolling down the hill and gathering momentum. Okay, so we do that through becoming present. We do that through stepping back, projecting the negativity onto a movie screen where we're able to watch it and disconnect from it. So what happens is that the emotion is no longer the energy in motion is no longer perpetuating and stacking negativity. And we're able to then capture that and turn that story around. We then bring in the inner coach to change that story. And we need the inner coach to start gathering energy and emotion. And that comes down to one word, and it is belief. What you believe is going to change the vibration of what you're creating. It's going to change that energy and motion. What you believe is the core of any shift that you want to change in this world. Okay, so this is where the 50 reasons, I'm going to go back to the 50 reasons just for a moment. The 50 reasons is designed to help you stack positive beliefs and get in alignment. And you could even write 50 thoughts that you would feel if you were slim and healthy and making the right decisions. I think I just came up with another task for you. Watch out in the new mindset book. But basically what happens is that the 50 reasons help you stack the positive thoughts and get you into alignment. And alignment is the key. If you're not in alignment with your weight loss and health goals, you're not going to achieve it. You've got to do whatever it takes to get into full alignment for it. And for some people, even before you start the diet, even before you start the eating plan, maybe getting in alignment and getting motivated and inspired to the long-term outcome is more important than actually starting the physical switch right now. So contemplate that, because I'd much rather you get in full alignment on an emotional and mental and spiritual level than the physical right now. You've got to start, one's more powerful. There's a pecking order to change, and it goes spiritual belief, emotional, mental, and physical. It doesn't start with the physical, okay? So getting in alignment, by doing those 50 reasons, really understanding and identifying the feeling of what it is you want to be the outcome, how your life's going to look and feel once you've mastered your health, how productive you're going to be, the relationships you're going to attract, the job you're going to not be afraid to apply for. All of these things is all part of the outcome of the feeling. The more you identify with the feeling of where you're going to be at goal, and the more you bring that into where you are now, the more likely you're going to be able to do this. And not only that, it will flip that switch that will actually make it really, really easy. When you're in alignment, there's no drama. You're just going to do it. You're absolutely going to do it. Change will happen. Change doesn't happen by forcing things. It happens by being in alignment and seeing the goal and feeling the outcome as though it's already in existence. It's not a wishful thought we're projecting out into the future. To shift reality and shift our point of attraction is about feeling as though we're there now. So you have to think slim. You have to feel slim. You have to healthy. I have an issue with the whole slim thing and the weight loss thing, even though I'm a weight loss coach. This is not about weight loss to me. This is about you guys just being high vibrational, amazing women magnets and living the best lives, right? So I'm going to replace slim with healthy or high vibe. What does that mean for you, and how are you going to feel when you're there? And start feeling that way now. It's really important. This is where you may have to just convince yourself that you're already there, because once you get that point of attraction is going to it's like flicking a switch, and the physical body will respond accordingly. Now, I have had so many clients that here's something that I observe, and this proves the point that I'm making. When a client's about to break from one set of digits into another, so say someone's coming down from 90 kilos and they're about to break 80 into the 80s, right? And they're waking up every morning and they are wanting to see 89 on the scale. I can almost guarantee that 80 to 90% of people, and you may be aware of this because I'm going to talk about plateau here, 80 to 90% of people will plateau at a pivotal weight loss moment. And that pivotal weight loss moment is often dropping into another digit, or it's dropping to a weight that maybe you have attached a significant meaning to. So say you were 70 kilos when you got married, and you haven't seen 70 kilos or say 69 kilos. Say you were 69 kilos and you haven't seen 69 kilos on the scale for 15 years. I can guarantee that when you're sitting at 70, you're going to plateau for quite an amount of time. Sometimes people go up, down, they sabotage, they do this, and they'll teeter on there, not just days, but sometimes weeks. So what do you think's going on? It is our consciousness that has attached a significant meaning to a number on the scale that actually becomes a negative block. It blocks us. So even if you're sticking to plan, this is what I find fascinating. Even if you're not sabotaging yourself consciously, even if you're sticking to plan and you're about to drop into a significant, a mentally significant number for you, what's going to happen is that you're communicating this with the cells in your body. I don't believe this. I can't believe I'm actually here. I get just, the self-belief or the emotion around that starts kicking in, and your body cells respond accordingly, and it will prevent you from actually getting to that point. Now, as soon as I do mindset stuff with my clients and say, right, okay, now you need to go to bed, you need to visualize seeing that number on the scale, you need to shift the story that you've attached to it and get into total alignment and let it go. Because if there's one thing I've learned in life, everything manifests and unfolds in its glory when we let stuff go. So when we let that story go, then I guarantee they wake up the next morning and they're a kilo down. So be aware of that. Plateaus are not always a physical plateau. Plateaus are caused by our emotional body, our energy and motion communicating with our cells, playing havoc with our cortisol levels, creating sleep disruptions, all sorts of stuff. You've got to think about this on a mind level just as much as you need to think about it from what to do physically. Okay, I can see the thumbs up coming in. I think so many of you are relating to this. It's so cool. I'm just going to read some of the comments. Hang on. Yeah, EFT. So Kim's asked, Deb, would EFT help get through the block causing plateaus? I'm a big fan of EFT. For those of you that don't know what EFT is, it stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. I actually trained as a practitioner in that about 15 years ago. And EFT is basically an emotional form of acupuncture. It's tapping on key energetic points. And I'm happy to film some videos. I've actually got some videos on EFT. I'm not sure if they're in the plan, but I will add some of those. Sometimes there are some definite techniques that you can do to help shift through some stuff. So I'm going to go back to my notes because, you know me, I get a little bit distracted and carried away. So why is being in alignment important? Okay, so being in alignment means that you're ready to create the change that you want. It also means that you're now thinking clearer thoughts, and the clearer our thoughts, the more specific our thoughts, the more likely it is we're going to create the change that we want. It's not enough to just go, oh, I want to lose weight. That's why that's why the 50 reasons are important. I just want to lose weight. That is so scattered on an energetic scale that you're sending out, I just want to lose weight. It doesn't mean anything. You've got to get specific with the thoughts that you're thinking, because the thoughts are going to drive the emotions and carry that energy and change things for you. Your point of attraction changes when you get clear. So if something's not working in your life, you need to hone in on what the thought is that you're carrying that's blocking that success and shift that block. It's all about shifting energy blocks. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to here. So once you're in alignment and you are creating your day and you're starting to stack those thoughts, you are literally now thinking yourself slim. That's the point I want to make. You can start thinking that. And Wayne Dyer did a thing on belief, because it all comes down to belief, as I said earlier. Belief is everything. And my mother used to say to me, she's quite a negative woman. I don't think she'll ever watch this post, but anyway, I was raised by quite a very spiritual, but sometimes a bit of a negative woman. And she always used to say, "I'll see it when I believe it. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it." That was her thing. "Oh, Deborah, I'll believe it when I see it," right? And I know a lot of you were probably raised by parents that were just, "Oh, I'll believe it when I see it." And you're probably dealing with this now, "Oh, another weight loss thing. I'll believe it when I see it." We need to shift our perception on that, because the reality is, and quantum theory proves this, that we will see it when we believe it. We won't believe it. Yeah, people will believe it when they see it around you. But for you to see something, you need to believe it first. That's where getting in alignment, really taking a leap of faith and fully believing is going to help you manifest things that you really want. So belief is absolutely everything. But belief is nothing more than an accumulation of story. Our whole world and our structure is made up of stacking stories based on experience. And in order to create a lasting change, we have to change our beliefs. We have to be willing to be wrong. We have to be willing to suspend what we thought was real and be open to the possibilities that there's another way or another perception of reality that we can take on board and start looking at in order to create change. If we don't change our beliefs or really stand back and observe where that wall or that prison is that's holding us in the same patterns and the same cycles, we can't change. We have to be able to drop that ego and just drop the story and go, what is the story that I've been telling myself that's created where I'm at? And what is it that I have to tell myself now? And what is it that I have to challenge my old patterns and beliefs on? And what is it really that I have to tell myself now to get me to where I want to be? And that really is kind of a lot of Eastern spiritual philosophy is based on that. When you think you know the answer, you have to realize you know nothing. And you have to be willing to constantly be open to new ideas and new ways of being, and not allow the negativity to override what is potentially good for you. So, this is kind of part of it. So the idea really is to stay fully present. I can't express that enough. Be fully present on your journey. I'm really negative tattoos. I don't like tattoos. I can't even believe I'm telling you this, but I kind of raised my daughters, you can have a piercing here and there because you can pull them out. No stretches or anything revolting, but you come home with a tattoo, you're out, because I was raised that way. And of course, we're in this tattoo culture now. But over the last 6 months, this is the whole thing, never say never. I've actually contemplated getting a very small tattoo in a very private place on my body. No one will ever see it. And the words of that, if I choose to do it, I'll show you. I'm still sitting with it. You've got to sit with these ideas for a long time. But the words of that will be, always be present on your journey. And I think that is, such a personal thing to remind ourselves that wherever we are in life, if we're fully present, we're getting the richness of that experience, we're gathering growth, we're taking the lessons, and we're constantly evolving ourselves to where we want to be and where we're meant to be. Not that there's a end B, but we're staying in flow and we're enjoying the richness of every experience that we have, whether it's positive or negative, okay? To be present through all of it means that you're going to grasp the lessons and create the lasting change that you want and get the wisdom out of everything that's going on for you in your life. So I'm just going to go back to my wee summary here before I wrap up. One thing I wanted to say is positive affirmations is not enough. Just to wake up or across the day have your little stickers with positive affirmations is not enough, because positive affirmations are powerful when used appropriately, but generally what they do is they are like this smear of positivity that's overriding the subconscious story of negativity. And part of this journey is to rewrite and shed light on that negative story that is the subconscious, that is creating your reality, that will ultimately determine your long-term success. If you don't change the subconscious story around weight and health and your life, You will lose weight, but you're going to gain it back. It is all about, lasting change is all about rewriting the belief, being open to new concepts, to be able to bring in new experiences and to rewrite that. And if you've got the subconscious sorted, you don't ever have to worry again. You've reprogrammed your brain. It's like taking a CD disc and putting it into the computer and looking at the stories that you have been writing and removing that, like deleting it from your hard drive and putting in a new CD and a new experience and starting to run that new story and that new program. And that is the key to lasting change and lasting weight loss right there. So the whole point is, when you change your story, your whole world starts changing. And never quit on that. Don't quit on that. It's a process. Sometimes it takes many years to develop. It's not something that happens just because you've heard this Facebook Live tonight. Oh my goodness, I get that. That makes so much sense. You have to do the work, and the work takes time, and no one's going to be perfect when they start this. It's a journey. So there's no end point. It's not something that you try for 5 minutes and then it didn't work and you give up on. You constantly have to wake up every morning, create your day, and be in alignment with where it is you want to go, and full alignment, and the feelings and the emotions of what you want to achieve in life, and the outcomes for long-term health and for the health and the well-being of everyone around you. So it is a constant thing you must do every morning, and over time that perpetuates and it snowballs and everything just falls into place. It's not hard. It all starts with here. It's all the thoughts that we think create the energy and in motion that determine the outcome of our life. So that's pretty much what I wanted to cover tonight. So I think one of the things I just wanted to mention is positivity is essential, but it's not enough without doing the work. It's not enough without shifting the core story and belief underneath, because when we're weak and we're stressed and we're tired and we're in our most vulnerable moments, that subconscious is going to kick in and override. So we've got to get to the core and start working on that stuff and shedding light on that. So in terms of the Facebook page, the part of why I wanted to create this amazing community is to provide a space for us to really come together as a group of women. I'm all about the sisterhood, and really support each other with rewriting our stories, catching ourselves in negativity, and really supporting each other's momentum so that we start stacking on that positivity. So what I really want to see in the next week on the Facebook page, let's put as much fantastic energy in there as possible to support each other and really focus on just being each other's cheerleaders and gathering the momentum of our positive story and where we want to be and what we want to do, and just keep the momentum growing. And as soon as this book's out, Anya and I are going to release the second edition of the food plan tomorrow. We're going to continue to work on it over the next week or two and kind of get it perfected. There's a whole bunch of chapters we still want to add, so it's not going to be 100%, but we're going to release that tomorrow, and hopefully the third edition will be out by next week. So next week, next Wednesday night, I'm going to talk you through the new food plan. So we'll be going back to the physical switch next week. But in the meantime, get posting, get working on your beliefs and your stories, and start changing those things and be open to that change. So I'm going to sign out now, and I just want to thank you all as well. You girls are part of a massive movement. This is going to be an incredible year for the ketogenic switch, and certainly for my life. I think 23 years of hard work and sweat is my life's really turning around, and you girls are a part of that. And it's just, you just never quit, never, ever, ever quit. My family own New Zealand's largest privately owned drug company. I am the black sheep of the family. They have wanted me to quit this alternative stuff forever. I've been the rebel, and my mantra in my weakest moments has been never quit, because you never know how close you are to success when you quit. And in the weakest moments, I keep reminding myself, you never know how close you are to success when you quit, so don't quit. And that's my advice for you. Don't ever give up. You're here, you're doing it. We're all in this journey together, and I'm fully here to support you, and I'm not going anywhere. This is my sole purpose in life and my mission. So thank you, girls, and thank you for joining me tonight. And I look forward to connecting. I will be back on Facebook very, very soon as I've got this work done. So I love you all, and go forth, create your day in the morning. Wake up, go to bed tonight, clear your mind. Wake up in the morning. As you're waking up in that slumber, go, I'm taking this moment to create my day, and today is going to be amazing. Okay? So sayonara, everybody. I love you all, and I will see you soon.